Hi, welcome to another video on WeMTB. Today, we're talking about the 5 best beginner bikes from trusted brands. Taking the number 5 spot is the Specialized Rockhopper 29/27.5. This bike is a solid intro bike to someone just starting mountain biking, and it's at a good price of $550. So, what it has decent stock rims, pretty decent stock tires, to be honest, better than my bike, which is impressive for its stature and price. And it has a 2x8 Shimano tourney and Altus drivetrain. Don't be scared though, it's a pretty good 2x8. You can upgrade the drivetrain with like a micro shift advent, but really solid. It just gets the job done. It's a good, light, cheap, affordable bike for someone that's getting into mountain biking, doesn't want to spend their life savings on a bike, and just wants to be able to ride it on the street or hit the trails. Okay, at number 4, this might be a little controversial, but the Specialized Pitch 1x Comp is taken number 4 because it has fairly stiff geometry, which isn't great. It's not particularly slack. It's a little slack, but not particularly. It is an XC/trail bike, but it has a nice coil-sprung SR Suntour XCM HLO. I'm not sure how to say it, but that's a very high-end coil fork. It has a lockout, a preload adjuster. It has a 1x9 microshift advent with 11 to 42 tooth cassette gear range, and it is just a fun, light, playful bike with decent stock tires, decent stock rims, and hydro disc brakes. It also comes in at the price of $700. Okay, number 3 is the Trek Marlin 7. This one is coming in at $850. The reason this one is at 3 and not 1 is the geometry this bike has is really tight because it's an XC bike/trail bike. It's not slack, which is not great for going downhill, but this bike is super light. It's like 27 pounds, and it's a fairly high-end beginner bike, so I would recommend this to someone who has a little more of a budget. It also doesn't have a tapered head tube for an $150 bike, which is a little strange. It has 100 millimeters of travel, courtesy of a RockShox Judy fork with a lockout, and it's an air fork. It's a 1x10 Shimano Dior 11 to 46 tooth cassette and derailleur. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of the XR2s. I just think that they kind of go bald fast, and they don't really provide a ton of grip for me. They didn't really provide a ton of grip for me, and they went bald pretty fast. So I wouldn't recommend them. I would maybe recommend changing the tires on this bike. But I think something that's really good about this bike is it comes with the Shimano MT200 brakes, which is pretty nice beginner-level hydraulic disc brakes. It comes with pretty decent stock rims as well, and internal cable routing. Okay, coming in at the number 2 spot is the Specialized Pitch Expert 1x. These comes in at $125, $150 depending on your store. It is amazing with an SR Suntour Air fork, which is pretty nice. It is a Shimano Dior 1x10 11 to 46 tooth cassette. It has a Shimano Dior derailleur, Shimano MT200 hydraulic disc brakes, pretty good stock tires, good stock rims, fairly slack geometry, and area for 2 bottle cages, and it comes with 100 millimeters of travel, just enough to soak up some pretty fun trails. And it also just looks really nice, and it has a good saddle as well, and it just is super pretty bang for your buck. And what I like about Specialized is, unlike other brands, they don't compromise on things like rims or tires or seats to keep back on it. They just somehow find a way to like get good brakes in, get a good fork in, get good frame in. But I would 100% recommend this bike to someone just getting into mountain biking. Coming in at the number 1 spot is the Jameis Highpoint A2. Let me tell you why. This guy has, like, it's $800 to $850. It has 120 millimeters of travel, courtesy of an SR Suntour XCM HLO. And it's an air fork, which is really nice, and it comes with a Dior drivetrain that's a 1x10 with a gear range of an 11 to 46 tooth cassette. It has Shimano MT200 hydraulic disc brakes, which are the most bang for your buck hydraulic disc brakes on the market. It is okay uphill because it's a fairly heavy bike at like 31 pounds, but it's a rocket ship downhill, and I'd highly recommend it for the slack geometry, good tires, good rims, good fork, good drivetrain, good seat, good handlebars, good stem. Everything about this bike is fairly good for a price point of $800. You can't beat that. The only thing that it doesn't have is internal cable routing, but that's really fine. Remember, like and subscribe to WeMTB. We're coming up on 100 subs. We're gonna have a special. It's gonna be exciting. It would mean the world to us if you could subscribe. It would make our day. And hopefully this was useful, you learned something, and this even helped you buy your first mountain bike.